right, let's dive into this explainer and tackle a structural problem that has probably haunted you at some point in your career. Today, we're unpacking one of the most famous software design guidelines out there, the open-closed principle. But look, we aren't just going to rehash dry, abstract theory here. We're going to ground this in a very real, very painful scenario that you have definitely encountered, talk about exactly how to fix it, and, crucially, figure out when you should just walk away and leave it alone. Because, honestly, we all know the feeling. You've got this brittle, endless switch statement. You start with two conditions, right? It's clean, it's simple, but then a few months pass. The product owner asks for a third condition, then a fourth. And suddenly, you're staring at a massive, monolithic block of logic spanning hundreds of lines. It becomes that one file everyone on the team is terrified to touch, because changing it feels like playing a high-stakes game of code Jenga. One wrong move, and the whole thing comes crashing down. These pain points, they're massive red flags. The endless scrolling, the constant merge conflicts, because 3 different developers are trying to jam new features into the exact same block, breaking unrelated code, it all signals that every new case is a dangerous modification to a place that really should be sealed off. You're constantly risking perfectly good, tested code just to bolt on a new requirement. Which is exactly where the open-closed principle comes to the rescue. It's the O in the famous SOLID acronym, and it dictates a beautifully simple rule. Your software entities should be open for extension, but closed for modification. So what does that mean in plain English? Basically, you should be able to add brand new capabilities to your codebase by writing new code rather than by tearing open and rewriting the working code you've already shipped. Now, the principle itself has actually evolved quite a bit over the years. When Bertrand and Meyer originally framed it way back in 1988, it was all about inheritance, creating subclasses to extend behavior. But as the industry learned the hard way, deep inheritance hierarchies get incredibly brittle. A single change at the top shatters absolutely everything at the bottom. So modern architecture, largely championed by Robert C. Martin, reframed the whole principle. Instead of inheritance, it now relies heavily on polymorphism and interfaces to promote loose coupling. So, how do we actually slay this growing switch statement? Well, we use a pragmatic 3-step refactor. First up, you identify exactly what behavior is varying between your different cases. Second, you extract that specific behavior behind an abstraction. Typically, we're talking about a strategy interface here. And finally, instead of tacking yet another branch onto your switch statement, you implement that new behavior as an entirely separate class. Let's make this concrete with a real-world example, an online store. Initially, maybe you just accept credit cards, but then the business wants to add PayPal. With that clunky old switch statement, you have to rip open your core payment processor class just to jam the new PayPal logic in. But with our clean interface refactor, we leave the existing credit card logic totally safe and untouched. We simply write a brand new PayPal payment processor class that cleanly conforms to our base interface. And this right here is the real aha moment of the whole refactor. Your existing system stays perfectly stable while new functionality just snaps right into place. Think of it like a plug-in system. When the business inevitably comes back asking for cryptocurrency payments down the line, you don't go hunting for a massive if-else block. You just write a new crypto class. The core system doesn't change at all. It just extends. Okay, but before we go totally crazy abstracting everything in sight, we definitely need a reality check. Because as one experienced developer perfectly phrased it, date abstractions don't marry them. Design decisions always involve trade-offs. If we're bad at forecasting what will actually change in our application, and let's be honest with ourselves, we usually are, these elegant abstractions can very quickly lock us into a corner. In fact, applying the open-closed principle blindly, it's a massive anti-pattern. It's a textbook violation of Yagni. You aren't going to need it. You end up trying to guard against future scenarios that never actually arrive, which explodes your codebase with all these single-use interfaces. Ultimately, you end up paying a heavy cost of carry, wasting your time maintaining this complex, unused architecture that just completely confuses new developers and makes the whole system harder to change. Software engineer Sandy Metz famously warned that an unsuitable abstraction is actually far more costly than just having duplicated code. The takeaway here? You absolutely shouldn't close a class against changes that are purely speculative. If you abstract 2 pieces of code together just because they happen to look kind of similar right now, but their business purposes eventually diverge, you'll just end up writing a nightmare of conditional logic inside your shared abstraction anyway. We've all felt that itch, haven't we? Seeing two files share 90% of the exact same code triggers this massive urge to DRI it up and abstract it right away. But it's a trap. You have to resist that urge until you truly understand the full requirements. If you force them into a shared interface prematurely, trying to back out of that later is just agonizing. Waiting for a clear, undeniable pattern to actually emerge is almost always the smarter move. Context is literally everything here. If you are writing a published API or a library that thousands of other developers rely on, breaking changes are disastrous. In that specific case, OCP is non-negotiable. But what if you own the entire internal codebase? If you can easily run a global find and replace without breaking external clients, modifying an existing class is perfectly fine. You don't need to build elaborate defenses against yourself. Because sometimes OCP is just completely the wrong tool for the job. Not everything needs a fancy strategy interface. Look at this breakdown. If your set of cases is genuinely closed, like handling the 4 human blood types or the 7 days of the week, those aren't going to change. We aren't inventing an 8th day of the week anytime soon, right? Abstracting that into a polymorphic hierarchy is severe over-engineering. For closed sets, a simple, readable switch statement is actually the cleanest tool you can use. Ultimately, the open-closed principle is a heuristic. It's not a law of physics. It exists strictly to help you manage predicted axes of change. It's all about separating what stays the exact same from what will inevitably evolve. So if your product roadmap shows a dozen new notification types coming out this year, definitely apply OCP. But if a module hasn't been touched in 3 years and there are 0 planned updates, just leave it alone. The truth is, every single time you apply this abstraction, you are effectively placing a deliberate, strategic bet. You are accepting an immediate increase in code complexity, more files, more interfaces, more indirect relationships, all in exchange for future flexibility. And, like any investment, you have to weigh that upfront cost against the potential payout. Don't place bets on every single line of code. Place them where the business is actively moving. So as you go back to review your own software architecture, I want you to ask yourself this. What bets are you making in your code base today? Look at those growing switch statements and ask, is this an open set that truly needs a clean interface? Or is it just a messy reality I can live with for now? Remember, principles serve your product, not the other way around. Keep your architecture flexible where it matters, keep it simple everywhere else, and never stop questioning your abstractions. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.